What is App Inventor? Hello there, friends. My name is Midas from Kiddies Droid, and I am here with a beginner's tutorial for App Inventor. App Inventor is a platform that you use to learn programming and use it in developing your own mobile phone applications, Android precisely. Let's get right into it. And let's start. To access App Inventor, you need to have a Google account first. I need to have a web browser. You could just come here, just type in the Google search MIT App Inventor. First item on the search is MIT App Inventor, and it takes me right there. Okay, so here is the website for MIT App Inventor. You have a lot of things. You can go through the website and get to read different articles written by people concerning App Inventor. And it's really fun. It's a fun place to be. You could check it out yourself. But we're going to be going straight into the development section, which is where we have this create app icon. Okay. So now I clicked on the create apps button there, and it takes me to a point where I'm to sign in with my Google account, same thing as your Gmail. Okay. So it's important. You can't use another mail. Okay, here it is, and my password. Okay, so now it's done, right? Now it's done, and it's brought me straight to my development page. Now, if you're using App Inventor, of course you're using App Inventor for the very first time, you're going to see an introductory message there saying welcome to MIT App Inventor, something like that. App Inventing, I do remember that part. Okay, so very likely the first page you'll be welcomed with is going to look somewhat like this, but maybe without all these projects here. It's probably going to be empty for now. You're going to get to fill it up as we introduce more videos on App Inventor. Okay, so first thing you probably want to do is just start a new project. You can just have that. You want to make it something nice. I'll just call it intro. I already have one created here, intro inventor, so I can't use that anymore. Intro inventor, right? Notice though that I didn't put spaces. If you try to put spaces, it's going to tell you project names cannot contain spaces. Intro will be used if continued. Okay, so you can either, if you want to have two words in the name of your project. Note, it is not the name of the app. It's not the name of the app. It's just the name of the project for development. So you could use an underscore, or you could just use camel cases where you get to use a capital letter to start the next word without having spaces. So, but since I already have this one here, I'll just click on this one. But once you're done typing, you can just click on OK right there. And here we have this. Okay, so this is the first page. This is the next page. There might be a pop-up for you here to click on. You can just click on continue. It's going to leave. Okay. So let's get to know what this page is about and what App Inventor really is. We have different sections here to look at, right? We're going to start from this part. So we have on the leftmost side, the palette. Now, the palette is a part that is filled up with different components from your phone that you can get to use, and it's also divided into subsectors. We have the user interface. If you scroll down a bit more, you have the layout, you have the media, drawing and animation, maps, charts, sensors, social, storage, connectivity, legal light storms, experimental, and extensions. We're going to look at that in a bit. And here is the viewer. The viewer is the part that shows you exactly what is meant to look like on your phone while designing. It's not going to show you how it works. It's only going to show you what you are supposed to be seeing on your device. Okay, it's just going to show you an example of what it should be looking like on your device. And you could decide to change the look of that to maybe a tablet mode, makes it look bigger, or a monitor size. This is it. Okay. Well, let's restrict that to the font size for now. Okay, so now this part, this components part it's meant to show up every component that you have added from here. For example, from the user interface, say I drag out a button from here and place it right here. See, it shows up right here and saying that we have put a button right inside the screen. If I want to delete that right here, I could just select it and delete it and it's gone. Okay, so that means to activate any component here, you just have to bring it out and then it's activated and done. Okay, so on the rightmost part are the properties to each component that you've brought out on the screen, right? Now, by default, the default component you always have is the screen, which is this one. You can't delete the screen, of course not. So the properties are the properties that are available for the component you have selected. And in this case, since it's the default, it's the screen. So here you could type about the screen. You could change the accent color, or you could change the accent color to black or whatever. You can't see the accent color until you start putting background colors and stuff on different components. I just put none, or I could just put the default back to this one. You get to see align horizontal, align vertical, different. This is where you get to write the name of the app when you're done installing it. You could change the background color of the screen and a lot of other stuff like that. You could decide to change the theme, the name of the screen right here. You could also edit that from the title one here. Okay. You could decide to make this title visible. Now it's no longer there. From here, and you can make it visible right now or invisible. Okay, so now you know all those apps where there is an about section where you could just tap and then find out you see stuff like version 2.0, a little bit of information about the app or screen. This is where you do that, so you can add the version name of the app, the version code, and then the app about the app is where you have the about screen. Okay. So most apps on the phone, when you want to select the app, there's this icon that shows up. So for you to add the icon, this is where you get to do that. You get to upload the image you want to use as an icon. So it's really cool. Now let me quickly give you an example of when you add a component to it. See, selected the button 1 right now. So you get to see that we have all these properties available for this. Background color I could change to this. I can change this to blue, cyan. You could change, make it disabled or enabled. Now, some of this is still just the design. It's just the design. So you can't come here to click on the button to see if it's going to work, because it's not going to work. It's just the design. It's just meant to show you what it's going to look like. Say it was on your phone. Okay. So you can increase the font size to maybe 50 or 30, makes it bigger. See that? You can make it bold, the text. You can also change the text just as we did this one. You can also want to change the color of the text. That one should be somewhere down there. This is the text color. I'll come to make it white. So now it's white. Change background color to maybe blue. Okay, so that's it. Now notice that you have to be very careful. I clicked here and it went back to the screen. So now I can't see the properties for the button anymore. Now, if I click back on the button, I get to see the properties. And then why this is very important is that because as you go on, most likely the app you're developing probably involve more than just the button. A lot of components might be involved. So you want to be careful about how you're selecting your components and be sure that you are attaching the right properties. So you just want to be careful about that. So once you've done adding properties, everything here is going to be responsible for ensuring that you have properly designed the look of that screen. Now, why is it called screen and not just app? Well, the screen is the particular, the screen pretty much represents the particular screen you're looking at the time before you press it and it changes, before it changes, right? That particular screen where all these components are presently working is one screen. So for example, in a normal app where you open something and then it goes to a different page, that would be another screen. So of course, you can add a screen from here, and then it allows you to add screen 2. You could name the screen, maybe login screen, something like that, or home screen, or about me screen, or profile page screen, something like that. Okay, so I won't go there yet. Now that, let's say you're done designing your the look of your screen, the present screen, then you have to design exactly what it's meant to look like, right? How do you want it to look? So that you can do in the blocks section here. Okay, that you can do right here in the blocks section. Now here in the blocks section, this is where you get to manage the behavior of every component you brought out and how it particularly works. So being that App Inventor is also a block-based programming language, so where you don't have to go through the typing. Here, each of this section, just like Scratch, also designed by MIT App Inventor, you can use all these blocks. Now, truth be told, it is as technical as a normal average programming language, just that you don't have to be worried with the technicalities of semicolon, full stop, question mark, those particular punctuations. All you have to do is just ensure that you are stacking the blocks right. And you could also have errors here the same way you have errors in a conventional programming language. Okay, so the same way you have control, like you got from Scratch. Control talks about the behavior of the different components you brought out, logic. And this is about the logical part, math blocks, just like you have in Scratch. For text, you want to attach. If you wanted to create lists or arrays, as you know it in most other programming languages. We also have colors, variables, procedures. Also, like you know from other programming languages, as functions. Okay, so it's pretty cool. And also, while you have all these blocks, each component you bring out to your screen also has its own personal blocks, right? So like, for example, you could click on the screen, you can say when screen.back pressed, do something, right? So that means the back button on your screen was pressed, what should happen? You could delete this by dragging it straight into the trash can. And you can have, say, button, for example, you see, this is the button, save empty screen. This popped up because I deleted all the blocks on my screen and I can't find anything. So it wants to be sure if it wasn't a mistake, save empty screen. Okay, so now we have when button 1 is clicked, right? For example, you could have when button 1 is clicked. When button 1 is clicked, what should happen? Okay, we're going to get to do something very easy and simple to see how it really works. Okay, so now that we've covered these different sections here, save empty screen, cover these different sections here. Also note that we have a backpack. And I wonder what is the backpack for here. The backpack is a space where you can pretty much hard blocks you have just want to keep because maybe you want to use it in another project. You can just save some blocks here, or sometimes you've done certain scripts and for some reason you have to change it. So you can just, you don't want to delete it and forget about the idea you just created. You want to just drop it in the backpack, then you can pick it up anytime. Okay, so that's a really cool thing to do as well. Now let's do a simple test for how a proper how you can build an app. Okay, so let's go back here to the designer. The designer here, let's say I already have a button 1. So this button 1, I'm going to change the text to change text. Let's do change text. So I have this button, right? I have this button. Now I'm going to have like a different like a text box from here. I'm going to get a text box. text box here. Okay, so what the idea here is every time I click on this button, this text should change, right? This text should change regardless of whatever the user writes inside. Once I press the button, it automatically changes back to whatever I asked it to change it to. So to continue that, I'll just go back to the block section here. So to easily do that, you have to first click on the button for this one. Now, these buttons, these buttons up top here are known as, these ones that have when starting all of them are known as event handlers. Event handlers, you can just break out this one. Now, these event handlers pretty much under events, which is of course when things happen, like when this button is clicked. Okay, so now I want to say when button 1.click, we want to change the text inside the text box, regardless of whatever the user wrote, right? So I'm just going to come down here and say set. Now these blocks right here, these green ones are known as property setters and property getters. How do you tell the difference? These ones here, they just look like plugs themselves, are property getters. And the ones that begin with the word set are property setters, of course. So let's look for the block that says set text box 1.text to something. Okay, so I'll just drag it here. Now this is unattached. Now you find out that I have an error here saying that click on this, it's going to pop it here, and I click here saying this block needs a value block connected to its socket, which is here because there's nothing connected to it here. So if I drag it here, it still has the error. Something needs to be connected to it, and which is what I'm going to do right now. I'm just going to go to maybe text here. I'm just going to look for an empty block at the top, this one. I'll just attach it here, and I'm going to type this message just got changed. Let me increase this so you can see it better. Okay, this message just got changed. So every time you click on this button and the designer, this one, the text you write in here will get changed. Now, remember, we didn't actually touch the properties for the text box. So, well, let's quickly do that. The font size, we want to adjust and make maybe 30 pixels. So it's going to be big as well and very visible. You could, it also has a hint. So when you started, you're not seeing the hint here, but when it is running on the phone, you get to see the hint here. Okay, so I could just click the hint, or just say type here. Okay, that's fine enough. So now the part you've all been waiting for, which is the testing part, isn't it? The testing part. Now, App Inventor provides you with a few ways to be able to test your app. The ways you can test your app include, first, you could just come here to connect. Now you have this USB emulator and companion, AI companion. What I recommend is the AI companion. That one involves you downloading the AI companion app. If you click on it, see, launch the MI2 AI companion on your device, and then scan the barcode or type in the code. Type in the code, right? So this code, just scan it on your MIT AI companion on your device to test it, okay? And that's easy once you've done that. Now you could also use the emulator. Now the emulator requires a starter on your device. The drawback with the emulator is that sometimes, depending on the project you're working on, you may not be able to test it. For example, if the computer you're using does not have a webcam, you may not be able to test the camera, right? Or a phone call app you're making, you may not be able to test things like that. And the USB, just you have to connect in the USB to the device, but then you still also need an AI starter. So the most convenient is really using the AI companion here. Okay, so now this is the part I love the most. Once you're done with your app and you're comfortable with everything you have designed after testing, just come to build here and Android APK. So now it's going to build my app, right? And once it's done, it's going to give me a will give me a QR code that I can scan to install it on my device. So I can just download it to my computer and I can install it on my phone. Okay. So the links to help you download the AI Companion from Play Store, you can find it in Play Store, will also be attached to this video at the bottom in the description. You could also have to download the AI Starter, will also be added in the description for you to test your app at any point. Okay. And most phones come with QR code scanners these days, but if yours doesn't have, you can always download the QR code scanner from Play Store. Okay, so once this is done, I'll get the app and I can install it on my device. Okay, so it's done. Waiting for barcode. Let's wait for the barcode. Okay, so here it is. I could decide to scan this QR code here, or I could download it to my computer so I can send it directly to my phone. Once I do that, it's downloaded right here. So I can send it to my device anytime. Okay, so that is pretty much all for the introduction. You can always test it. Let me know your comments below. If you had any issues, please write in the comments and we can help you out. So till the next video coming up, that's going to show us more about the different sections and how we can build more interesting apps. Stay tuned. You can log in. You can check our websites as also highlighted in the description below. Until then, please stay safe. Bye-bye.